Welcome to part 9 of Conscious Creation in the Intelligent Observer. In the last lecture, I told you that structures are a skeleton and a skeleton needs life moving through it. You can build the perfect framework of systems around yourself and still feel hollow inside it if nothing keeps your inner fire lit. So this lecture is where the whole series comes together into something you can actually do. We assemble your daily practice, the set of tools you return to morning and evening, the practices that keep your awareness sharp, your energy clear, and your intention alive. And before we begin, hear the one rule that makes all of it work. The power was never in any single technique. The power is in the combination, repeated consistently. A small practice done every day will change you far more than a grand practice done once and abandoned. So do not chase intensity, chase consistency. We begin where all of it begins, with sitting in stillness. We built this foundation earlier, the simple practice of resting as the witness and watching the breath, catching the mind when it wanders and gently returning. That remains the root of everything. But now we add something to it. Once the mind has settled and grown quiet, this is the moment to plant your intention. The old word for a clear, deliberate resolve is sankalpa, and it is far more than a wish. In that settled state, you bring to mind the thing you are consciously creating, and you do not just think about it. You see it, you feel it, you let yourself experience the emotion of it as though it were already real. A quiet mind is like soft soil, and an intention planted in soft soil takes root in a way that 1,000 anxious daytime thoughts never could. This is the heart of conscious creation. First you calm the water, and then you drop the stone, and the ripples carry far. From the mind, we move to the breath and the energy, because we learned that the breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. When you feel scattered or anxious, you do not always have to argue your way to calm. You can breathe your way there. The simplest practice is slow, deep breathing, drawing the breath low into the belly, letting the out breath be long and unhurried. A few minutes of this settles the whole nervous system. A deeper practice is alternate nostril breathing, where you gently breathe through one nostril and then the other, balancing the two sides of your energy and bringing a clear, centered calm. Keep all of this gentle and comfortable, never straining. And there is one more energy practice from the old traditions, the use of sound. Every form has a sound, and the most fundamental of them is the long sound aum, made of a deep A, a rounded U, and a closing M, felt as a vibration rising from low in the body up to the top of the head. You can sit and sound it slowly, feeling the vibration move through you, and notice that beneath the sound, holding it, is silence. The tradition said silence is a true foundation of all sound. So the deepest part of this practice is not the noise you make, but the stillness you touch underneath it. Now we come to the word and the heart, to how you speak to yourself and what you feel. Your inner speech is constantly programming you, and most people let it run wild and negative, so we take it in hand. The practice is to consciously speak to yourself as the person you are becoming, not the person your fears describe. This is the practice of identity. Instead of repeating, "I am someone who always gives up," you deliberately rehearse the identity of the focused, steady person you intend to be, until your actions begin to follow the new self-image rather than the old one. And alongside this runs the practice of gratitude, which is far more powerful than it sounds. To list each day the things you are thankful for, and even to give thanks in advance for what you're creating, trains your whole being away from a feeling of lack and toward a feeling of fullness. It quietly tunes your attention so that you start noticing the openings and the help that were always around you. And there is a subtle art woven through both of these, the art of holding your goal firmly while releasing your desperate grip on it. Desire without desperation. You plant the intention with full feeling and then you relax your clutching, because the tight, anxious fist is itself a kind of doubt. You trust the seed and you stop digging it up to check. But here is where the practice gets honest. And this is the part the shallow teachers skip. You cannot only fill yourself with light and ignore the dark. Every one of us carries hidden parts, the fears, the old wounds, the patterns we are ashamed of, the version of us that sabotages in secret. And what you refuse to look at runs your life from the shadows. So a serious daily practice includes facing these parts on purpose. One simple method is to write down the fearful or critical voice in your head and then question it on the page calmly, like a fair witness, until its grip loosens in the light of your attention. Another is the practice of meeting your own patterns with 3 honest movements. First, you acknowledge it. You say, yes, I did this, without hiding. Then you accept it. You remind yourself that this does not define you, that you are the witness, larger than any one pattern. And then you act. You choose the next response on purpose. And for the hard moments when you slip badly and the old self comes roaring back, keep a simple reset ready. You stop, you breathe, you name the pattern that has taken over. You forgive yourself sincerely, because shame only feeds the shadow. And then you choose again. This is not about beating yourself into shape. We learned that force does not work on the inner world. This is about integration, about bringing the hidden parts into the light and into the whole under the steady gaze of the witness. Now, all of this inner practice would be incomplete without action, because a practice that never touches the world is just a beautiful daydream. So the toolkit includes the daily discipline of one aligned action toward what you are creating, however small. And there is a particular spirit in which to do it that the old teachings prized. You give your full effort to the action, and you loosen your grip on the result. You work wholeheartedly, and you let go of the outcome, which frees you from the anxiety that actually blocks so much of what we chase. You also stay alert to your own intuition as you act, those quiet inner nudges that often know more than your reasoning does. And you follow them, effort and surrender held together. That balance is one of the deepest skills in all of this. And do not forget the body, the foundation underneath all the rest. The practice here is simply to treat the body with conscious care rather than neglect, to notice how you eat and what you eat and how much, favoring the lighter, more natural foods that leave you feeling clear and energetic rather than heavy and dull, to move the body daily in whatever way suits you, and to protect your sleep as the master key that quietly resets everything else. None of this needs to be extreme. It needs to be conscious. A well-kept body is a clean instrument, and a clean instrument plays whatever music you ask of it. Now let me add one tool that belongs uniquely to our moment in history, because we would be foolish not to use it. We have, for the first time, a thinking machine we can talk to, and most people waste it as a glorified search engine. But you can use it as something far greater. You can use it as a mirror for your life, and an architect for your systems. You can describe the domains of your life, your work, your health, your sleep, your relationships, your money, your learning, and ask it to map them as a system and point out the loops, the bottlenecks, and the hidden leverage points you cannot see from the inside. When you keep failing at something, instead of asking it for motivation, you can ask it to analyze the failure as a system and show you the structure producing it. You can ask it to help you design a weekly operating system rather than just set another goal. You can sit with it each week and have it reflect the patterns of your days back to you, the recurring friction, the thing worth redesigning. You can even track a few simple numbers: your sleep, your mood, your focus, your energy, and ask it to find the connections you would never have spotted. But hold on to one truth here, because it matters. The machine can reveal your patterns, but it cannot change them for you. It can hold up the mirror, but you are the one who must act on what you see. Used this way, it becomes a strategist and a feedback engine for your life. And the real power is the union of three things: this kind of intelligent reflection, the systems thinking we have learned, and your own consistent practice. So let me gather all of these scattered tools into a single shape, into the rhythm of one ordinary day, because that is how you will actually live it. In the morning before the world rushes in, you begin by simply being glad you woke up alive, which is not a small thing and sets the whole tone of the day. You take a few slow breaths to settle. You sit in meditation, and in that quiet, you plant your intention and feel it as already real. You give thanks for a few specific things, and you move your body even briefly to bring it online with the rest of you. That short routine tunes every instrument before the music of the day begins. Then, during the day, you carry a light awareness, catching yourself when you drift into negative self-talk and returning to your center with a single conscious breath, staying present in whatever you're doing and making sure you take at least one real action toward what you're building. And in the evening, you wind down with reflection. You look back honestly at the day. You write down what went well and what you learned. You face any pattern that showed up without shame. You give thanks once more, and then you release the day entirely, handing the unfinished parts over and letting yourself rest deeply, because good sleep is itself a sacred part of the practice. That is the toolkit: stillness and intention, breath and sound, the word and the heart, the honest facing of your shadow, aligned action held lightly, conscious care of the body, and the wise use of new tools as a mirror, woven into a morning, a daytime, and an evening rhythm repeated with patience day after day. This is how everything we have spoken about stops being an idea and becomes a life. But there is a danger hidden inside all of this power, and an honest teacher has to name it. The very practices that can transform you can also be used to fool yourself. A person can meditate and visualize and affirm and feel wonderfully spiritual, while quietly avoiding the real changes their life is asking for. Practice can become another place to hide. So in the next lecture, we install the safeguards. We learn how to tell true growth from comfortable illusion, how to keep ourselves honest, and how to guard against the subtle traps that catch sincere people on this very path, the checks and balances that keep your conscious creation real. And that is where we go next. Please subscribe for more of such well-researched intellectual sharing.